Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a comedy movie review and I'll be having a look at Jingle All the Way. So this is obviously a Christmas comedy starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now this movie gets a lot of shit, but I actually quite like this film. I certainly don't think it's one of the best comedy movies of all time, and certainly one of Arnie's best, but I actually do quite enjoy this movie, and it's certainly a film I wouldn't mind popping on over Christmas. I just quite like it. It's a very upbeat movie, and basically it follows the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, who's kind of this workaholic dad who ultimately has left it too late to try and get his little son, played by Jake Lloyd, who you may know from the Star Wars prequel, and he's left it too late to get a Christmas present. He particularly wants this kind of superhero character, sort of action figure, and he leaves it to Christmas Eve. And he's just having a mad dash to sort of try and basically get this this particular toy, and sort of can't find it anywhere. He gets into a whole sort of heap of kind of misadventures, ultimately sort of trying to get this particular toy. And you've got a lot of supporting characters on the role. You've got James Belushi, you've got Sinbad. There's a whole bunch of these comedy characters that you'll kind of meet on the way, and all these sort of various different mishaps. It's a very kind of light comedy, if that makes sense. It's very kind of saccharine, that kind of stuff. So there's some criticism for that, but you could also say maybe it's a bit of a commentary on the sort of commercialism of Christmas ultimately, and how sort of people are kind of whipped up in the kind of frenzies about these particular toy lines, which is very true to life. I mean, you've only got to think back to the big toy lines like Buzz Lightyear and things like that, and people kind of going crazy for them, and over the Christmas period and whatnot. It is a very cheesy film, and Arnold is massively miscast here. If you've seen him in other comedies like Twins and stuff like that, part of the joke is obviously the fact that he's this sort of big, huge muscular guy. But it's irrelevant in this movie because it really doesn't sort of play any part of it. So you do you think why it's particularly Arnie in this film is really a guy his stature, it has nothing to do with it. So you kind of feel he's a little bit out of place there. And yes, it's a very cheesy film. Arnie certainly isn't maybe the best actor in the world. Certainly with this sort of comedy, they've genuinely been more sort of misses than hits. But nevertheless, I think it's quite fun. You've kind of got some very sort of mild sort of Power Ranger-y type action movie towards the end of this film. I actually find it quite a fun movie. I know I'm going to be in the minority when I kind of say I actually quite like this film. I certainly see it's got flaws, don't get me wrong, but I still do find it quite a fun movie. And I quite appreciate obviously what you see every Christmas, and kind of how people's kind of rush and how people get sort of stressed out. So I think it's an interesting sort of commentary on that. So I'm going to give this movie a 6 out of 10. I quite enjoyed it. So are there any other Jingle All the Way fans out there? Let me know if you completely hate this movie. What do you hate about it? Leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.